Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Canucks Conversation, delivered to you by the great folks at DoorDash. You can use promo
Ding
code.
dong.
You can use promo code ConvoDD, capital C, capital D's, all one word, ConvoDD. That will get you 25% off and free delivery on your first order with the DoorDash app. Does not get much better than that, folks. My name is Dave Quadrelli. I'm joined, as always, by the man who built the place, Chris Faber, cracking an energy drink right into the mic. Our technical producer is Alex Allard, high above Rogers Arena on, again, another very beautiful day that, you know, is just kind of, you got some clouds, but above those clouds, a lot of blue skies.
Yeah, this is what I want for the backdrop. I want more sky, less head. That's what we're gonna do here for this one. It's gonna be more blue skies, less of the back of my head, no more wrinkles. My hair is looking better. You can barely see the credit card slit in the back of my head.
Hair's growing out.
I don't know if you can see it. Well, you can't see this, but guess what we're doing today live on the show?
That's right. We said it yesterday, folks. We're doing it. Faber's got it.
Look at this. The air fryer's in here. The pork rinds are ready to go.
Faber has brought his air fryer into the studio. He has lined it with pork rinds and some tin foil. We're going to be making, there's no Atlas Kids poll questions today, but we're going to be making some pork rinds. Wow, I got to shave. Should I do the whole November?
Starting, and tomorrow on the show. Today we're making pork rinds. Tomorrow you're going to shave live on air. So that's going to be
okay. So
bring the people back to the YouTube channel.
No to the Movember. Just
this is why you got to come to the YouTube for it instead of the podcast.
Yeah, so you can see me shave. Yeah, okay. That's what. Can
I start really with something here?
Of course.
Okay, November 1st today. Change of the month. So I'm in here working last night. I'm writing away. I read a Dakota Joshua piece. I highly recommend checking it out. It's on Canucks Army right now. I've put a lot of work into it. Had a good chat with Dakota as well. And I come out, and my fiance is watching a Christmas movie. She's watching Santa Claus.
Santa Claus,
the movie.
Which one?
Santa Claus.
Tim Allen?
Okay. The first one.
Isn't that called The Santa Claus?
Maybe. Yeah, The Santa Claus. She's watching that. I said November 1st, and we're already flipping to that. To the Christmas. She wasn't wasting any time. She started by watching a Halloween Christmas combination movie. It was a Tim Burton Christmas or something.
Yeah, I was just telling you about you've seen that, right? Nightmare Before Christmas. You've never seen Nightmare Before Christmas? No, well, I guess I hadn't until last week either.
It's those Tim Burton things that creep me out. Those characters in the Tim Burton creeps me out. Give me the creepy crawlies. I feel like I'm watching a spider crawl around on the camera. That's what I'm looking at.
Tim Burton looks exactly like you think he does. The best way I could describe Tim Burton, if Google a picture of Tim Burton, everybody listen to this if you don't know what he looks like.
Alex, pull it up.
Tim Burton looks like Nicolas Cage's brother, who just makes scary stuff and doesn't want to be on screen. That's what he looks like. He looks like Nicolas Cage. If Nicolas Cage only made weird movies that scared you.
I like Nicolas Cage. Nick Cage, good dude. But here's the other thing. I told you this. I haven't blown my New Year's resolution yet. You know that November 1st.
Today. You did it today.
2 months. So
how'd it go today?
I haven't gone to the gym yet today, but my New Year's resolution was 1 month this year in 2022. I'm going to go to the gym every single day.
Don't put it to December. You're not going to do it.
No. I'm not pushing it to December, but I did push it to November. So I'm in November now. So after this show, this is why I'm drinking the energy drink. After the show, I'm going down to the gym. Biceps today.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I'm going to work out. I got to get my protein in here with the pork rinds, which I don't know what time we're going to do this on the show, but we'll do the pork rinds at some point here.
I'll do it during Prospects Report.
Prospects Report pork rinds. That's it's not. We don't even
maybe
have a
Wednesdays. Wednesdays, you guys work out on this. Workout Wednesdays.
Workout. Yeah, well, I could probably get this whole thing set up down in the gym there. I still got the Wi-Fi down there.
Alex jumping into the conversation there that we should jump in on a Wednesday to do the workout. Okay, let's move to the game here.
Okay,
Devils,
lots of stuff.
Canucks. Your thoughts?
All right, Devils, Canucks.
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start with the Hughes Bowl. Right, let's get it out of the way. Jack has won 3 of the 4 games. The Devils obviously beating the Canucks in 3 of the 4 games. But at the same time, Jack Hughes has scored in 3 of the 4 games against the Vancouver Canucks as well. This Devils team, baby, they're hot. Okay, the Devils team, they're coming in here. They've won 6 of their last 7 games, in which they've more than doubled their opponents in score quads. 27-13 over those 7 games. They've outscored their opponents. They beat the Avalanche. Heck, that's a tough feat in its own right on Friday, 1-0, and then they shellacked the Blue Jackets 7-1 on Sunday.
Good use of the word shellac.
This Devils team is coming in. They're no joke, man.
They aren't.
The roster doesn't no names really blow up off here, but I tell you what's going on with that right side of the Devils. That's where they're building their team through, right? Dougie Hamilton, John Marino, Damon Severson, like that. That's what this team is running through. It's a strong right side. All three guys you can trust to move the puck up ice. I think Ryan Graves is another good puck mover as well.
Yep.
I'm expecting a very exciting game tonight. Like the Devils, they've scored 6 or more goals in 2 of their last 3 games. The Canucks are coming off of 2 games where they just won their first consecutive games of the season. They also had a few days off. I think tonight's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a very fun game tonight, and I hope the Canucks can keep up in what I expect to be a boat race of goals tonight.
The Devils' blue line is similar to what we talked about last year's playoffs with the Tampa Bay blue line, where on the Devils, it's the right side, but on the Lightning, it was the left side where they had, 3 really good left shot defensemen. And then they were kind of just playing with, especially the bottom 2 pairings, not so much the top pairing, but the bottom 2 pairings, they were kind of playing with, near replacement level players on the right-hand side, but they just loaded up on the left side of the defense. And again, it goes back to that conversation that we had a lot with Harmon during that offseason about hey, maybe you don't need to just target a right-handed defenseman. Maybe you should just try and load up on as many good defensemen as possible. And that's going to be a big theme on today's show, the defense pairings.
Yeah, we got to talk defense pairings in a little bit here, but a couple more Devils notes. Jesper Bratt, he's got 15 points.
Yeah, he's been on fire with Hughes.
Yeah, 15 points in his first 9 games. We haven't seen a starter yet, and that's the only thing that doesn't really pop off the page when you look at the roster. They got Vitek Vanacek and Mackenzie Blackwood.
Blackwood's been good. Blackwood's been good this year.
He's been okay, I guess.
He's been good. He'll be.
I just think tonight's going to be a really fun game to watch. I think it's going to be a blast to be in the building. The Canucks are going to be rocking their reverse retros for the first time. Quinn Hughes back in the lineup. Ethan Bear sounds like he'll be in the lineup. We'll touch on the defense pairings in just a little bit. But I want to bring up some stuff about the forwards first. I do want to mention Luke Shen. He's got three assists in his last 2 games.
Don't look now, folks. Luke Shen for the Norris.
He's two-way defenseman. Luke Shen. Andrei Kuzmenko and Ilya Mikheyev each have 4 points in those 2 Canucks wins, 2 goals and 2 assists each over those last 2 games. So they've been cranking up a little bit of offense. But here's what I'm interested in watching tonight. Vasily Podkolzin, he's without a point over his last 5 games, right?
Does that worry you at all?
I don't know, because the minutes have been so weird for Podkolzin lately. He played 18 minutes a few nights ago. Then he played 7 minutes just the other night. He's still without a goal on the year, too. No points in his last 5, but without a goal up to this point. Him and Höglander are the only 2 forwards who have played 7 or more games and are still without a goal this season.
I think that's what frustrates you with Podkolzin is the habits look good.
Yeah, he looks like a better player this season.
And again, I'm not saying Nils Höglander's habits are bad, but if you looked at these 2 players play and said, hey, guess which one of these guys has a goal this year? The answer is neither of them. But if you had to guess which one would be the first scorer, would have more goals, you'd say Podkolzin solely based on what they do at 5-on-5.
And you know what? He was on the second power play unit in practice the other day. I think he might be there in this game tonight. I would hope so. I think he's a guy that you can use on that second unit. And what's surprising? I know I said you don't need a center on the second unit. Canucks aren't using a center on their second unit, but Tanner Pearson sure looking. I swear, ever since I said this, the Canucks are getting so many damn faceoffs now for their second unit. They've had 5 or 6 this season, which I think it's only because I said it. But Pearson's been winning those, so good for him. But Podkolzin looking like the net front guy on that second power play unit. The Lions. Okay, Studnicka, I think, is how he said he wants to hear the pronunciation of it. He was talking to Batch today. I was eavesdropping a little bit. And I chatted with him before the game, looking excited to the game tonight. He says he's hoping to make a memory about putting on the jersey for the first time. I asked him if he had any fun stories about.
I saw that.
Did not give a great answer. I guess he didn't have anything, but he's hoping that tonight's the night for that. So you're going to see Miller, Horvat, Garland, Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Mikheyev. That's going to be your top 6. Then Podkolzin, Amon, Joshua, Pearson, Studnicka, and Höglander on your 4th line there. So, I mean, forward group, you're feeling pretty good. When it's something that's interesting to me is how this forward group is shaped out, specifically the bottom 6. We talked about, hey, maybe Pearson and Höglander are 4th line guys with all the depth that they've had in this on this team. They're looking like 4th line guys, and Brock Besser's not even in the lineup. And he was on the ice today late, working with Trent Cull and a couple of defensemen, Jack Rathbone and Kyle Burrows, who look like those 3 players. Burrows, Rathbone, and Besser looks like they won't be in the lineup tonight. They put in a lot of extra work today. So we'll get to the defense pairings in just a minute, but I think looking at the forward group, you're feeling pretty good about it. And if they're able to kind of build off the confidence that they've developed here over the last 2 games, I think a few days off also really helps, right? The Canucks haven't played since Friday. It's Tuesday today. It's November today. The Canucks haven't played since Friday. So hopefully they can build off of that. I think it's been a lot of good vibes kind of building around this team. They had their Halloween party. They've had a couple days off, some easy skates. Like it's nothing been too crazy over the last couple days. And I think that there's a little bit of confidence here. I've said it a few times already, but today's going to be a really fun game. I'm very excited for tonight's hockey game. I can't say I've said that in a long time with the Canucks anyways.
Sure. Fair enough. Can I go off the rails a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
And say something?
Sure.
I think this went a little bit under the radar. Why don't you start the air fryer while I talk about this? You'll agree with me. I know you'll agree with me, but I just, for some reason, I was thinking about this today.
I'm going to save the air fryer for the end.
Sure. I was thinking about this today when I was writing scenes for Morning Skate, and I was writing about Jack Studnicka, right? I was thinking about that trade. You know, they get Jonathan Myrenberg, the Bruins do, and Michael DiPietro. Michael DiPietro is still playing with the Abbotsford Canucks on loan because Boston has nowhere for him to play. So, look, we weren't sure how many starts DiPietro would get when he was property of the Canucks. Now he's traded away, and he's got nowhere to play. He's still going to be in Abbotsford, and you think the Canucks are going to now play Seelovs or hell, even Delia behind Mikey DiPietro? DiPietro's not getting any starts out in Abbotsford. He might maybe get a couple, but like that's a tough spot for Mikey DiPietro to be in. Again, like second round pick, and his development's just been absolutely kiboshed. And again, it's not getting any better in Boston, right? Canucks letting him stay with the Abbotsford Canucks on loan. That's, they're doing him a bit of a solid there. But again, you would hope Boston would have somewhere to go for him. Now, the reason I bring up that trade, Chris, is because when that trade was made, Patrick Allvin talked about how Jonathan Myrenberg wasn't 5 years away, how they liked him, but he was going to be like 5 years away before he was an impact player at the NHL level. Then I got thinking, well, hang on a second. If that's the case, why are the 7-1 or 6-1 when they made the trade Boston Bruins interested in it? Because aren't they in win now mode? Who's in more win now mode, the Canucks or the Bruins? I started thinking about this and I said, maybe that's what separates, elite teams. And I hate to say that about the Boston Bruins, but maybe that's what separates organizations that have the sustained success, multiple playoff appearances over the past 10 years, all that sort of stuff. Maybe that's what separates those organizations from where the Canucks are right now. And it got me thinking about, and I said this before, the Finding Finn intermission game. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but for those that don't know, they blindfold a fan and then they put Finn, the mascot for the Canucks, on the other side of the ice, and the fan has to listen to cheering to find his way to Finn and find his way to get there. Now, stay with me, folks. Kind of feels like that's how the Canucks have gone about the last 10 years, but it also feels like the way that this trade was made as well. Like, I understand the Canucks wanted, someone ahead of Sheldon Dries, and they wanted to take a chance on on a center depth guy. I think my problem is just he wasn't going to be ready for 5 years, so who needs him anyway? And I know that's not what Allvin meant when he said that, but the justification of he's going to be 5 years away, you don't see the Bruins, on the other hand, the Bruins might say, well, it's important to stock up, so he's 5 years away and we think he's going to be a good player, so we acquired him. And again, like, the Bruins are trying to win right now, but they also have an eye on the future. You can do both. And especially when you're the Canucks, who haven't won anything and haven't even made the playoffs. And again, it was really funny. There was a comment because we ran a story on Tony Gallagher's hit on Donnie and Dolly. Shout out Donnie and Dolly. Ran a story on Tony Gallagher's hit where he talked about how the Canucks have got here, what they've done wrong over the past 10 years, that sort of stuff. And there was a comment on there, and I was like, this has to be, either Francesco Aquilini or Jim Benning's burner account, because the comment was, sorry, did we not just weren't we just one win away from the Western Conference Final in 2020? I was like, how is that still your take? Oh, wow. Like, you're tripling down on that. I just thought that was so funny. But anyways, I know I just went off the rails, but I wanted to bring up that trade because I was thinking about it today. I'm like, that was the justification that, well, he's 5 years away. And again, like, look, I know the Canucks said they liked him, and it wasn't, I'm definitely paraphrasing when I say that was the reason they traded him and went for Studnicka. I was just like that's part of the reasoning. And, then you see Boston and all the success they've had, and now they're like, okay, we'll take a flyer on this guy who's taking the 5th round, but is showing well at the SHL level.
Yeah, and I mean, just to watch whatever happens here, I mean, if he gets back, if Meyerberg starts playing in the SHL next year, maybe he's got a little bit more value on the trade block than, what happens if Jack Studnicka doesn't end up playing at all after Curtis Lazar comes back? What's his value at that point? I think but I don't know. I do still think it's going to end up being a nothing trade, but I'm with you, and just the process is the worry for me still.
Softball brought up a good point in the chat. Said, funny if Bruins trade Meyerberg back to Vancouver in 5 years, when the Canucks for the 8th year in a row are looking for a partner for Quinn Hughes, and that Meyerberg kid's pretty good.
6'2" righty out of Sweden's pretty good. But you brought up finding Finn. Did you see my video I posted I was at the Rogers announcement? The major announcement. Put me on full screen here, Alex. Let me show this for the people on YouTube here. I was freaked out. I'm sitting here. I'm trying to listen to this press conference, and then I get to the left. I'm scrolling around, looking through the board, and boom, I got Finn staring into my soul, not moving at all. Freaks me out. I got it up on TikTok too as well. I've been TikToking a little bit.
It is so weird to see Finn not moving. He's always moving. That's the first and only time I've ever seen Finn standing still in what is not a picture. That's a video, and he's standing still.
He was still as could be. Tough. It freaked me out. I'm trying to pay attention here to the Rogers thing. I said, geez Louise.
Also, what a nothing announcement that was. We'll quickly we'll get to the defense breaks in a sec. Rogers extending their partnership with the Canucks for 10 years. The arena is still going to be called Rogers Arena for 10 years.
Dude, it was creepy. Because they're like, we'll walk you in. Take you behind the scenes here a little bit. The PR staff's like, hey, we're going to walk you in. Stay here. We're not going to the media room. We're not doing any of that. And then they're like, okay, we'll walk you around the corner. We're coming around the corner to go at the end of the rink and then walk into the rink. And it's a red hue. It looked like we were walking into hell. It was there was a red hue coming out from the rink through the little area where you walk onto the ice. It looked like we were walking into hell. So
anyway,
at least Shorty had a couple decent jokes.
Exactly. I was going to say, at least Shorty was there. And also, good news for our friends over at Sportsnet.
Oh, of course.
So we're happy to hear that, especially for the folks at 650 who, weren't sure what the plan was, up until the start of this season. So,
my former employer.
Yeah. Hey, mine too, in a way.
Yeah, sort of.
I just showed up and looked pretty. That was a fun time, though.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, it was a little Saturday show.
Yeah. Anyways, good news.
What are they doing now on Saturdays?
But
Raptors talk?
Raptors talk.
Cool.
Point 2.0. What I wanted to say though is that announcement, major news announcement. They send out the email.
All caps in bold.
You and I were freaking out a little bit. We're
yeah.
I was like, are you gonna be there? I was like, I better be there too. Then we start seeing what it's gonna be about, and I was like, yeah, I'll just go home. I'll just make sure I'm home. And thank God I was, because that was really funny. And I saw a tweet. Someone tweeted out in true. I think it was Jackson McDonald. Shout out Jackson McDonald. I got some news on him. Some
news.
Yeah. He's going to continue to host Roxy Fever, and he listens to the show, but I've got something.
Is that the news?
Yeah.
It's the same as Rogers now.
Yeah.
Jackson is going to continue hosting.
That was my joke.
Roxy
I didn't deliver it very well, no. But in true Canucks fashion, the announcement was that nothing is changing for the next 10 years.
Excellent. Okay, let's get to the Canucks defense pairings, what we expect to see tonight. And this is based off of what I saw at practice with Jack Rathbone and Kyle Burroughs being on the ice late to skate. Stillman, who still Boudreau is telling us is a game time decision. I think he's going to be on the third pairing tonight with Ethan Bear. We're going to see Hughes and Shen back together, OEL and Tyler Myers. Tyler Myers wasn't at practice today. It looked like a pretty optional skate. Pettersson wasn't there as well. And I think Garland was the other player missing. So they didn't even skate in lines. These are the three pairings that I expect to see. We're going to see Hughes, Shen, OEL Myers, Stillman, and Ethan Bear. What do you think? Jack Rathbone is one thing to take out of the lineup. I think that's I don't know. That's tough. But to me, Kyle Burroughs has just been excellent. I think it's more surprising to me that Burroughs is coming out of the lineup than it is Rathbone. As much as the potential is there for Rathbone, he's a young player and you want to see him play. Kyle Burroughs has been really good this season in the role that he's been asked to play. And I'm surprised he isn't going to make it into the lineup, because I don't know if Stillman showed me anything that should make him the guy ahead of Burroughs, especially coming off an injury. After Burroughs has been playing big minutes, playing in the top 4 for the last few games, I'm a little surprised here. So Stillman better have a good game today. Otherwise, I think it's any of these two players of Rathbone or Burroughs is going to hop right back into the lineup for them.
Do you know what I have more of a problem with? And I'm sure you could have guessed this. Jack Rathbone. What the hell?
Hold up, Alex. Free Rathbone.
Free Jack. Hashtag free Jack. I tweeted it today, and then you deleted your tweet that I was quote tweeting.
Look at that.
So.
He's right behind bars, Jack Rathbone. They got
Okay.
him. This is a picture from Rogers Arena, actually.
In all seriousness, and obviously the Rathbone behind bars isn't serious, but
it's tough.
In all seriousness, I'm looking at this and just looking like you got like give or take 2 to 3 defensemen who can move the puck on this team.
Put it behind me, Alex.
And Rathbone is one of those guys. So again, it just comes back to this whole, what do they have against Jack Rathbone? Like, again, you're just not giving him any chance to, get comfortable at the NHL level, right? Give him just a little bit of runway at the NHL level to, prove himself as somebody who can stick in the lineup. I don't think he's done anything egregiously wrong. People are saying, oh, well, sometimes when he tries to wheel the puck out of the zone or make a great pass, sometimes it backfires. I will take that over whatever the hell else we've seen from this defense core this season. If you can move the puck with any sort of competency, you deserve, or competence, you deserve to be in the Canucks lineup. I'm sorry, I don't get this. And again, it hasn't happened yet, because Stillman and Hughes are both game time decisions, but it sure looks like Jack Rathbone's going to be the odd man out there. I know you just brought up Burrows on the left side. Give me Jack Rathbone, man.
I think Rathbone and Bear could be really fun and like a dynamic third pairing where, hey, maybe that's where you're taking advantage of, like, your defense core isn't strong, right? But maybe looking at that third pairing, that's a spot where you maybe actually can have a little strength. Hey, they move the puck extremely well as a pairing and work together well. Then you're gaining something with your defense, which I don't think a lot of people have been saying about the Vancouver Canucks for a long time. Like if that's the pairing that's going up against other teams' third and fourth lines, you're feeling pretty good about that. I think I'm a little surprised we aren't seeing that game one, but the Canucks seem to believe that Stillman is one of their best, top 6 defensemen, and they're going to run him out there with Bear. And it's interesting. That's a pairing that just, they haven't been in the Canucks system for very long. They haven't been able to learn what the coaching staff exactly wants, but they're going to, sounds like, go with it tonight. I wonder about Stillman. Like he said, Boudreau still said he's a game time decision, but from at least what we saw at practice today indicated that we are going to see Stillman and Bear be a pairing.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like, I'd rather see Rathbone Bear than Stillman Bear. And again, got to give him a chance. Bruce Boudreau talked about Riley Stillman yesterday, said it's someone I haven't had a great chance to take a look at. I don't know. I like Jack Rathbone. I think Jack Rathbone's a good player. I think he deserves a shot in this lineup with some regularity. Like, let him build some chemistry with Ethan Bear too.
You said last year, Rathbone's one of your top 6 defensemen. He's one of your 6 best defensemen. Last year he was. This year I still think he is. It's just about the fit, I think, and that's what we're seeing. I think why Stillman's going to be in the lineup. I think Boudreau maybe trusts Stillman defensively a little bit more than Rathbone. I think that's why we're here. I think that's why we're going to see Rathbone in the press box again.
I don't think that's warranted. But again,
I don't think so either.
One of us coaches in the NHL, and one of us sitting here with that Nation Extreme Wrestling toque on.
Did you go to an event? You got that or what?
I can't remember where I got this. I have a feeling it might have been Wyatt. Like, he might have at the negotiating table when we got him at Canucks Army. I might have said, "Give me that toque off your head."
Gotcha.
And give me rights to write most of the stanchies, because that's apparently what's happening right now.
Yeah, a little controversy.
I'm back on stanchies tonight.
Speaking of,
Wyatt's feeling sick. Get better, Wyatt. Well, he'll be back on stanchies soon.
Jeff's got a good point in the chat as well. Rathbone has looked good. Wouldn't you want that speed against the Devils? Yeah,
that was what I pointed at.
And Jarhead said it as well. Stillman and Bear are going to get exposed tonight. Bear's rusty and Stillman's pretty meh. Yeah, you'd probably want a little bit of that speed. Who are you texting over there?
It's
what's going on here?
It's about something that if I get it in time, I might be able to bring it up on the show, but we'll see. Anyways, you don't never ask me who I'm texting. Never ask me about my business. But okay, back to this comment about Rathbone against the Devils. Like, when we talk about the Devils, we keep talking about the team speed, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, if they're attacking off the rush, I'm taking Jack Rathbone.
Yeah. I thought he had a couple of good I don't know, people, I don't want to say rip on his defense, but worry about his defense, I guess is the right way to say it. I think he's a pretty good defender of the rush anyway.
He's competent enough. He's competent enough to play in this lineup with the other strengths that he has.
Can we get to the next part here? I want to bring up this. Alex, you can pull up the schedule here.
As we wait for that, I made a mistake.
Okay.
Mackenzie Blackwood has not been good.
No, he's not been good.
Vanacek's the one that's been pretty good.
But they've been splitting starts up to this point.
I know. And again, like, Blackwood's actually not been horrible, but he hasn't been really good. The Devils need to get that goaltending to be really good. But, there were some games where they got it from both guys.
Okay.
Just wanted to say that.
Alex, can you get the calendar up here? Perfect. I want to ask you, Quads, you're the goalie guy. We can't play the goalie segment song, can we? We're in trouble. We get in trouble on YouTube now?
Yeah, we're not bothering. Go.
Damn. Okay. Well, I wanted to ask about Spencer Martin starts this month. I mean, listen, I don't think he's going to be getting the majority of starts, but I put him in yellow squares here. The back-to-backs. The Canucks have 3 back-to-backs this month. A lot of games where it's just a day in between. Where do you pick out the starts for Spencer Martin this month in November? I'll pass it to you. You're the goalie guy.
Okay.
I'll tell you which days Jonathan Lekkerimaki's playing, but I'll let you handle the goalie stuff here.
Sure. So
talk us through, because lots of games, like I said, days in between, and this is maybe going to be a little bit better for YouTube. So try and make this good for the audio folks as well, because I know you and your video, you're obsessed. But try and let me know how many Spencer Martin starts we see this month.
Yeah. Okay. So you've highlighted the back-to-backs in yellow. Let's go over those. Ottawa, Montreal on November 8th and 9th are the first 2 that you look at. You give that start, the Ottawa start, to Thatcher Demko, keeping in mind that obviously Thatcher Demko is getting the Tuesday night tonight start against the New Jersey Devils. Spencer Martin's probably getting Thursday, Demko's also getting Thursday and Saturday. You give him Tuesday, you put Martin in for the back-to-back on Wednesday. Again, Martin's a guy who, I've talked to him about it before, playing in the ECHL, playing in the AHL last year with the Abbotsford Canucks. He's used to not having starts for long stretches of time, but you don't want to make that stretch too long. So with that in mind, you give him that start against Montreal. You do not hesitate to give him the second start in the second back-to-back of the month on November 12th and 13th against the Boston Bruins on the 13th. You do not hesitate to give Spencer Martin that start. Now, I'm going to take this a second further, Chris, because the Canucks, after that game, have a game in Buffalo on the 15th. Thatcher Demko is getting that start. On the 18th, when the Canucks return home, I'm saying that should be a Spencer Martin start. Or you give that to Thatcher Demko and you give the 21st, the Monday, to Spencer Martin. It doesn't just have to be back-to-backs, and I don't think the Canucks should be doing that with the backup goalie that they have. I think Spencer Martin's been nothing but fantastic in all of the games he's played for the Canucks. I think he proved in that win over Pittsburgh that he's far from a liability when he's in net. Now, that Spencer Martin at his best and Thatcher Demko at his best are 2 very different things, and I don't think we've seen Thatcher Demko at his best yet. But again, you play your backup. You want Demko to stay healthy. You want to give, you want to show Martin that you're confident in him as well. You need 2 goalies in the modern NHL, okay? You just have to have 2 goalies who can play, who you can trust. I don't think Spencer Martin has done anything to make the Canucks not trust him. I think Spencer Martin deserves a start on either the 18th or the 21st. 23rd, you play Colorado, and then they have 2 days off before the 26th, 27th, which is another back-to-back. You give Thatcher Demko the start on the 26th. Spencer Martin picks up the 27th. This is a busy month for Spencer Martin, if you ask me. And
so
again,
4 games, you think?
I think it's 4 games. I think it's going to be 18th or 21st. This is what I would do. I don't know if that's what the Canucks will do. 18th or 21st, Spencer Martin should be getting one of those starts. Again, that is 3 games in, 5 nights? Yeah, 3 games in 6 nights. So, you got 1 day off in between. I understand there's back-to-backs. You got to give Spencer Martin one of those starts, I think.
I think that's probably correct.
I think for sure he's going to get 3.
You don't think he's going to, because of his strong
further
play on Friday,
Yeah.
You don't think he maybe gets Thursday's game against the Ducks, which is a pretty poor team?
I'm going to say no, only because
that's
the Canucks
that's where I can see it being 5 starts this month.
Sure. I'm going to say that doesn't happen, though, because the Canucks are coming off of 3 days rest.
Sure, but if you come out of this Jersey game with a 6-3 loss, Demko gives up 6, you might be able to see Spencer Martin.
Sure.
I'm just saying, I think Anaheim is a potential option there.
Sure. I mean, it's hard to disagree with you, but I do disagree with you. I don't think he's going to get that start. If you're asking me what I would do,
my idea is that unless Demko is almost lights out against the Devils, I think Spencer Martin might get that start on Thursday.
Very
it's at
possible.
home. You have a Saturday game coming up, a few days off for Demko to really kind of lock it in with Ian Clark there.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Thursday. And
I think they should.
I wouldn't be surprised to see 5 starts.
5 starts. Wow. Yeah. I think they should. I think if I were calling the shots, it would be 5 starts for Martin.
You got 14 games in the month. 5 starts for Martin, 9 starts for Demko. That feels about right.
Yeah.
Right?
I could see it.
So you're wrong. I'm right. Goalies.
Well, we'll see. We'll see who's right. Quickly, wanted to get this in before your prospects report or whatever's next. Spencer Martin
Prospects.
had a good chat with him yesterday, just about that start in Pittsburgh. I'm working on something. I've got way too many things on the burner right now. It's hard to find time to write everything. But Spencer Martin was in attendance. A 10-year-old Spencer Martin was in attendance for Sidney Crosby's second game of his career. He told me that he drove down from Ontario with his family to Buffalo, and he remembers the border being super backed up because people were driving down to watch Sidney Crosby play. And, Martin was like, yeah, and Lemieux was there too. And I was like, holy cow, that was, Martin's only, 3 years older than me? 4 years older than me? But
27, 28?
Yeah. I was like, wow, I don't have memory of that. It was
Is he 26?
Yeah, he's 26.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my little thing. Spencer Martin was
You're going
Sidney
4
Crosby's
starts. I'm
second
going
game.
5.
Sure.
This month.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Gee, I just want to do the show for 4 hours today and not have to go to the gym. Not a great start to the month. All right. Prospects report. I just want to get into Jonathan Lekkerimaki a little bit. I mentioned it yesterday that I wanted to dive into it a little bit more and chat about a prospect instead of just giving updates, because it was like, I think Yanni Yermo had a game today. He didn't do much. Philip Johansson had a game today. I didn't see the final period, but he wasn't up to much in the first 40 minutes. And I put together a little graphic here of all the shots from Jonathan Lekkerimaki so far this season in Allsvenskan play. I've really liked Lekkerimaki over the past 3 games of watching him. He's looking just way more engaged in what he's bringing offensively right now, specifically at 5-on-5, a spot where I thought, it just wasn't there for him very early in the season. It wasn't there for him at the Summer World Juniors. I think he was disappointing in what we saw when you watched him play at that tournament. I think he's a player who wanted to impress quite a bit. I think he's going to be much better in December at this upcoming World Juniors. But something feels like it's just turned the corner with Lekerimaki's play, specifically at even strength is what I'm talking about. He is getting in the forecheck. He's being able to generate not only shots for himself, but also being able to set up his line mates for just so many more good quality scoring chances. I think that's been impressive so far. I was worried early on in the season about Lekkerimaki because it looked like he was more of a passenger. It looked like he wasn't the player who could go out and make things happen on his own. But he's at that point now. I think he's playing a lot better and actually just having a high effort level, which is all you really want to see, because that this kid has the skill. I don't doubt that he's going to be in the NHL in a couple years. I just want to see him be able to be an impact player when he is at the NHL level. And to him, it's got to be that effort level coming through. And I think we're seeing that right now, which is good. He was dominant on Saturday, posting 80% Corsi quads. You there? 80% Corsi while having an 88% expected goals for percentage in that game. Very much spending a lot of time in the offensive zone. And we're looking at the shot chart right here on YouTube. You're seeing a lot of the shots come down from in tight on the right side below the circles. That's where you like to see him get a lot of those shots off. A lot of those are coming from breaks. He does get a lot of 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, or even semi breakaways kind of on his own where he's 1-on-1 with a defender and just able to beat him, because the speed is really starting to impress me quite a bit. It just early on and in the World Juniors, you didn't see him have these bursts that he's having right now in Allsvenskan, where you look and it's like he takes off at certain times when he does have the puck. He just absolutely explodes with it through the neutral zone and gets into the offensive zone with a ton of pace and is able to just beat defenders in the Allsvenskan right now with just the speed on its own. He hasn't really finished as much this year. I think he's only got 1 goal in Allsvenskan play, but we're going to see him in 1 week from now actually start to play in the Four Nations tournament, which is going to be exciting to watch, because that's a spot where he is going to dominate against the 20-year-olds. This is a preparation tournament for the World Junior Championships. And I think Lekkerimaki is going to be better at that tournament, and that's going to set him up to kind of just roll into the World Juniors and be a much more impactful player. I expect him to be in the top 6. I expect him to probably be on the top power play unit. And I just hope that they don't look at what he did at the Summer World Juniors and just kind of not give him the opportunity. But I don't really think that's what's going to happen for Lekkerimaki, who is by far the Canucks' best prospect. And we'll just have to see how he kind of shows, I guess, moving up into the World Juniors and then getting to that point of the World Juniors of being effective. So exciting times for him. I've liked his game a lot more over the last little bit here. So I'm excited to see how things move forward. Like I said, Philip Johansson, as well as who was it? Yanni Yermo in action. Didn't really see much of those two players do anything really today. Is it pork rind time?
I think it is.
Okay. Well, the air fryer's got to warm up, so I'm going to fire it up here. Anybody in chat? Fire up in the chat.
You go ahead. Oh, wow. Do you see what Alex has on the screen? I'll tell you because you're busy, but Alex has the instructional video of how to make pork rinds from Atlas Goods. We'll just give them a shout out. We don't have a poll question today, but our friends over at Atlas Goods use promo code.
I don't have any. I didn't grab any seasoning.
That's okay.
We're just going to do it straight.
They're fine, just like that. Use promo code CC15 to get 15% off your first order at locally owned and operated Atlas Goods, atlasgds.com. Check them out. Same day shipping if you order before 3 p.m.
Maybe I can get the back camera going and pull it down here.
No, that's not a good idea.
Well, I'm pulling it down now. Too late.
Well, he's doing it, folks. Faber's got the back cam going down. Do you have anything that you want to talk about as we wait for the pork rinds to cook? I know you got the camera going, but for the podcast listeners, is there anything, I guess, pressing, kind of, just something that you really wanted to get off your chest? Kind of like how I did with the Myronberg thing.
No, the Dakota Joshua article, I really liked here. As you can see, the pork rinds are about to get going there. I guess I'll put that back. The Dakota Joshua article that I wrote today, I thought was pretty interesting. Seeing some of the stats that, like, Dakota Joshua is one of the leading, well, he is the leading creator of high danger chances right now on the Vancouver Canucks at 5-on-5. I just think he is getting to the net, and seeing the shot chart that Dakota Joshua is putting up right now is pretty damn impressive with how close all of his shots end up just coming from the net. Like, he's a guy who, when I talked to him, mentioned that that's where he gets a lot of his offense from. It's just getting down from below the circles and then getting in there and just putting the puck in the back of the net, or at least setting up one of his teammates. And it was kind of cool talking with him about what the perfect shift is like. And that's how I started the whole article. I highly recommend checking it out in Canucks Army. I was pretty proud of the work that I put together. So he mentioned it of just like going out, getting physical, forcing a turnover, finding a teammate, and then scoring a goal, having a celebration, and talked about building the chemistry a little bit with Niels Amon, who those two players I think have played pretty good together. So it's been a nice find for the Canucks to have Niels Amon there. And what's going on with all these bots in here in the chat here? I see they're getting kicked out.
The good part of the chat, Knucklehead jumped in and say, "Hey, this is the Betway rind up." Okay. Get it? Instead of wrap up. Speaking of which, do you want me to do the Betway wrap up today? Because I've got something good. I got a bet prepared. Okay, go ahead. Give us the Betway wrap up.
Here it is. Look at this. The video's up on
CanucksArmy.com. Canucks Army Twitter. Excuse me.
So I think, like I said it early on in the show, I think it's going to be an exciting game with over 6.5 goals in this. I think this is pretty easy. I think you can get this at Betway right now for plus 220 at over 6.5 goals. So that's what I would be looking at if you just want a simple one. But I picked like Devils to win over 6.5. You get a goal from Jack Hughes. You get a goal from Bo Horvat at plus 1,700. That's good odds. Or even just to get a Jack Hughes goal. Like I said earlier in the show, he scored 3 times in his last 4 games. There it is. Time to add the food. So that one at 750 if you think the Canucks are going to win. Those are my bets. My Betway bet. Please bet responsibly. Must be 19 years of age or older. Betway. Matthew
Berardi, name you can trust.
I'm getting these in here.
Okay. Matthew Berardi jumped in the chat. I'll give my answer first since you're about to do pork rind stuff. He said, out of the forwards, who would you scratch if Lazar was healthy? Do you think it's Dakota Joshua? Like, again, and let's answer the question. No. Well, I know it's not for you. Let's answer the question of what we think the Canucks will do and also what we would do. Out of the forwards that are healthy, when Curtis Lazar returns, who comes out?
Oh, Jack Studnicka for sure.
Jack Studnicka for sure, but you haven't seen him play yet.
Sure, you're right.
So give him a chance.
Okay, geez.
Right now. Okay, well, let's say there's no Studnicka in the picture. Okay? Let's say Sheldon Dries is here. Well, Sheldon Dries is obviously the guy. Let's say, in this hypothetical, that Studnicka comes out, performs really well. He's not coming out of the lineup. You can't pick Studnicka. Who are you taking out? Because that's the easy answer.
It would be interesting to see. Yeah.
Further, Brock Besser's coming back too.
Yeah, so there is going to be 2 bodies. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Niels Amon. I mean, I think he's kind of cemented himself in the lineup a little bit now. especially as a guy who looks like he's playing third line center, right? Like for the time being, at least. And I don't think that's going to change even when Brock Besser comes back. Curtis Lazar probably moves into that spot, and probably Niels Amon moves down to the fourth line. But yeah, I think it's Studnicka, and I don't think it's too different from that.
Okay.
I just don't think, and then maybe Joshua is the next one, but Studnicka is the first name to come out. Then when Besser comes back, yeah, I think things can get interesting. I think it'll be Höglander probably.
Höglander.
I personally think
Joshua was rotating in and out with Besser today.
He might be one that's out of there too, right? Like it might, when Lazar and Besser come back, it might end up being something on the third line of like Podkolzin, Lazar, Besser.
Also, I had it wrong, folks. You decided to preheat the air fryer, which you don't have to do. You don't need to preheat your air fryer.
I always preheat the air fryer.
There's no point. We could have had pork rinds 10 minutes ago.
No, they got a minute 20 left here.
I know, because they cook fast, but you just put them in. I thought, people are wondering, well, you guys said it's done quick. It's not done. It's because you preheat. You don't preheat the air fryer.
I always preheat the air fryer.
You really don't have to.
You should do it.
You don't have to.
Well, that's what mine says. You press the thing, and then it says add food. And then I open it up, and I put it. Look, Alex got it right here. Preheat your air fryer.
Mine, you don't need to preheat. I got a great one from Lisa Martin. Shout out, Lisa.
That's right. Lisa got you an air fryer.
Yeah, she got me the air fryer, and you don't need to preheat mine.
All right. Well, these things look pretty done here.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna shut her down.
Yeah.
We didn't even need seasoning here. Look at these.
Didn't. Are you gonna?
So people saw them before.
Show the camera.
They saw them before. Alex, get out of there. Alex, get out of the YouTube. Come on now. I got fresh ones here. Look, they were just a minute ago. They were these little pellets.
Those are beauty. Okay, I want one now.
Oh.
Yeah, give me one. Give me that big fluffy one. Yeah, that's a big fluffer. Is it hot?
Normally, well, not super hot.
Not like too hot to touch. Ooh, it's pretty hot.
But that's what you got to do. Is they're fresh right out of there.
It's popping in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's all I can see here on my other screen too. Alex has got that.
They're so good.
Full time.
Fantastic.
All I can see is pork rinds. And you know what? There's no topping on them either here.
Yeah. Jeff King jumped in the chat, said, I haven't had lunch yet. Getting hungry talking about these things.
All right. That's the thing. You go and you grab the big ones right off the top.
I know, they're so good. The bacon flavor ones, I'll be honest, bacon flavor is my favorite. Like, these are the original. They're fine. They're good. Original. But bacon flavor, can't go wrong.
I'm going to put a little topping on them after here, too.
We'll wrap it up there. For my co-host, Chris Faber, we're eating lunch. Courtesy of our friends.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I got to get a little protein in me before I go to the gym.
Courtesy of Chris Faber, our technical producer, Alex Allard. My name is David Quadrelli. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Canucks Conversation.
Pork rinds!
Thanks for listening to Canucks Conversation, delivered by DoorDash. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
How about keep it to a thank you, Jim?